Hello. This is Real Estate Beyond the Sign. I am Lindsay Carducci, and with me today I have Kendall Bergen.
Hi guys.
She is a realtor. If you don't know Kendall, she is also an absolute rock star in the industry. So, Kendall, if you could give a little intro about yourself. It can be personal, professional,
Okay.
whatever you want to share with our audience.
Okay. So I am Kendall Bergen. I am a realtor on Carducci sales team with McDowell Real Estate. I am starting my third year in the industry. And it's been a great ride so far. I recently moved from Medina all the way to Solon. So I'm an East Sider now, which I'm still getting used to. And what else? Well, yeah, there's a lot of other things, but I think we're going to get into some of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I can't even remember how we first got connected. I know we've talked about this multiple times. And for some reason, my memory just isn't serving me correctly because I feel like it was in Lakewood somewhere.
I feel, but also I feel like we saw each other a lot at Mexican restaurants.
Yes.
Because we both love a Taco Tuesday.
Yes.
Who doesn't?
We share the love for that, that's for sure. But I've known Kendall for many years, and I would say about a little over 3 years ago, kind of came reconnected. Because you were telling me how you were interested in getting your real estate license. And so, our relationship kind of evolved from there because of obviously that connection. So before real estate though, so we're going to go back in time a little bit. What were you doing prior to real estate?
So I was a hairstylist for about 21, 22 years. So very, very into that. Super
People
busy.
Are probably watching this and they're like, there's no way she did a whole I almost just cursed and I said I wasn't going to. There's no way she did a whole career for 20 some years, but it absolutely is true.
Yeah. I started in hair when I was 20. And I'm 42 now.
Yeah. So, sorry. I didn't mean you had to
No, that's okay. I don't care. That's all right. It's not 40s are great. So that's good.
They are. They always say when you're in your 20s, 20s are your best year. And then just wait till your 30s. Your 30s are your best years. I feel like it's 40s,
same
40s and beyond, because
love my 40s.
That's when you're really adulting.
Yeah. You have some of it figured out anyway.
Yeah. I mean, as much as you can.
As much as you can.
But so you were in the hair industry for many, many years. And, I was so excited when you had a day in mind and you were like, I'm going to go full time.
Yeah.
Because that's extremely scary in a commission-based world.
Yes.
So that's terrifying. Tell me a little about it. So obviously you said you're on your third year, correct? Okay.
Yes.
So that means essentially you've been doing this for almost 2.5
2 years. Yeah. For 2 years about, I did hair and real estate together, which was
insanity because
an adventure.
You did them both, we'll say full time, but not a normal person's full-time work week.
Yeah.
You're working over 40 hours at both careers. So the reason I'm mentioning that is for a couple different reasons. It's terrifying getting into real estate, but you did it the smart way. You slowly transitioned, and over the course of those couple years, because it's different for, obviously I'm married now, but we very much related when we were both single women trying to make a go of it in real estate, because it ain't easy when you're the only income who has to pay all of the bills.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. You did an amazing job. But honestly though, it's great because that career can just translate into real estate now.
Absolutely.
Because in my opinion, real estate is the vast majority of building relationships with people.
Yes.
Providing value. And obviously there's a service within real estate that we provide.
Right.
But you've already been doing that for 20 some years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just have to shift the conversations. So tell me about that. How has the transition been for you? And any like struggles maybe that you've had?
So honestly, it's been overall, it's been really good. Doing hair for 20 years, it's about building relationships, and that's something I pride myself in. It is also a commission industry. It's a little different how it's structured versus a real estate industry, but
Sure.
So for that, I kind of understood, that commission is tough. Being in a commission-based industry or a solely commission industry is really tough. But for me, building the relationships with hair clients kind of just sailed right into the real estate side of things. Actually, my very first purchase and sale, listing and sale that I did of a home was for a hair client of mine. And she literally said to me right after I got licensed, she said, well, I've trusted you to do my hair for 15 years. So I'm going to trust you to buy and sell my house. And I was like, jaw on the floor, shocked. And I'm so grateful for her. She's a wonderful friend to this day. But yeah, the transition has been good in that my hair clients, who are wonderful people, have been very supportive and very kind. Obviously, there's a sadness there of not getting to see them as much as I used to.
And I'm sure sadness, because I'll be honest, if I lost my hair,
when you lose your hair
girl,
it's tough. It is tough. Yeah. So I think I have heard from quite a few of my former hair clients who have let me know they're seeing other people now, and they're like, I really like this girl, but I miss you so much. So that's a really nice feeling. It's also a hard feeling as well.
Yeah.
But it's all bittersweet, all good stuff. The thing that I think I struggle with the most now is going from 2 full-time careers to 1 full-time career. I kind of sometimes feel like I'm not working enough, which is crazy. And I kind of got to let my nervous system like come down a little bit and calm down a little bit. But that's been the thing that I think has been the biggest hurdle is like, if I don't immediately have to wake up at 5 a.m. and get out the door right away, a little bit of me is like, am I doing something wrong? Or is there something I'm missing? So that's been the biggest struggle, I think.
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest things in this career that you have to master is your schedule.
Yes.
And like for a multitude of ways. One, to make sure that you're staying on task, every single day, and you are accomplishing things. But then also you can let clients run your schedule so much if you allow it and you don't set healthy boundaries and have conversations on what your work hours are and all of that, because otherwise they're just going to text you all night and expect you to respond. And so scheduling is a huge thing. So, moving forward, my advice would be like time block.
Yes.
So I have, my morning phone call that I do every single morning. I'm on Clubhouse. If any of my Clubhouse people are watching, give me a like.
Sometimes I'm on Clubhouse. Sometimes.
Yes.
Not all the time, but sometimes I am on Clubhouse too.
But it forms a good habit.
Yes.
And so I start my day talking about real estate, and then I have other things throughout the day that they're non-negotiables. And so that would be, my biggest advice, as you kind of figure out how everything works for you, and then also like make sure that you are scheduling time off.
Yes.
And communicating, because I have to sit down and I tell my clients, like, I basically work 7 days a week, and sometimes every single day of the week, even on holidays. And so I am very blunt with them, and I tell them, I typically work 9 to 7 days a week. There, aren't any emergencies that happen in real estate at 8, 9, 10 o'clock. And so, just little things like that that you can implement into your business so that you can have freedom, flexibility, which is a lot of why people get into this career. But I'm confident you're not going to have any problem. You're just enjoying having a life right now.
I'm able to,
not work 120 hours a week.
Yes, I just went on a vacation, which was fabulous. My boyfriend and I went on an amazing trip to St. Lucia, and
It looked
it was great. And that was something that was really hard to do in a more structured schedule, like a hairstylist schedule.
Yeah.
Like that's a tough thing to be able to take a week off, 8 days off and do that. So
even in real estate,
yes,
it is as well. But I think at least coming from us both being solo agents to being on a team, I think that's the beauty of being on a team.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
You have so much more support, especially for when you want to take time unplugged, because it's super important.
Yeah.
It's super healthy to do that. We shouldn't feel guilty for taking a week's vacation, but you probably did every minute.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't even know. So Lindsay was wonderful and helped me out with some of my clients that I had while I was gone. And one of the things you sent to me on day one, we landed in St. Lucia and I had seen some emails, and Lindsay was handling a deal for me. And I texted her, I said, "What's going on with this?" And her exact words were, "Excuse me, ma'am, I do believe you're on vacation. I will handle this." So it's great to have a teammate who understands you need a break. Right. You need to calm down. I've got this handled for you. And that was huge. Like, I showed that text to Scott. I was like, okay, I need to calm down. Lindsay's got this. We can actually relax a little bit and have our vacation, which is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so huge because real estate is like very mentally taxing. Mm-hmm. We, people post about all the happy things, and we got to deliver keys and we're cheersing and, showing all these beautiful homes. But what people don't talk about is the hardships and the reasons people move. Sometimes death, divorce, not happy moments. And so it can be extremely emotionally taxing. And we got somebody chiming in here. Emily, the support is so important.
Yes,
it really is. And I remember being a solo agent, not when Emily was my manager, because she was so gracious. She would always help me. But when I was a solo agent, I was working my entire vacation. I had my laptop out. I would be not enjoying whatever we were doing and just thinking about the next moment that I could get back to my computer and, try and solve all the world's problems. And so, I think
depending where you are, you don't even have cell service or internet, like solid internet access. So that was the other thing, is that I didn't always have internet access on my trip, and I didn't have to worry about it, which was great.
Yes, absolutely. And so you have my future vacation days,
yes,
right?
I got you on lockdown, girl. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, happily.
All right. So you were doing hair for the vast majority of your life. Now, let's talk about some of your accomplishments. So you killed it last year in real estate. I mean, honestly, we don't give ourselves enough credit. You had doing a dual career for all of 2025.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say your numbers because we didn't talk about that, and I don't,
totally fine.
But you pulled amazing sales volume for somebody who was doing a dual career, and you won an award with our team, which was very much deserving.
Thank you. I had no idea that was coming, but thank you. That was awesome.
Well, you busted your butt, and you are one of the top performers on the team, and it deserves recognition. That's another thing in this career that oftentimes we don't get is recognition, and not that we need it, but feels good.
Yeah.
It's
to be
nice
acknowledged
to,
for the hard work.
yeah, to feel appreciated, to feel seen, Now, Jeff and I had many conversations because, he was like, well, we gotta print something for everybody. And I was like, no, we don't. And like, I was actually the mean one about
The crack in the whip.
but I'm like, everyone doesn't deserve an award.
Yeah.
And that's the honest to God truth. I would have loved to, give everybody something, but the reality of it is not everybody is working as hard as you. And so they don't all deserve an award like you. So, I think it'll be motivation for people to work harder and, potentially earn something like that. But you had a fantastic 2025. What else? Is there any sort of like recent things, moments in your career that over the last couple of years you've been like super proud of?
Oh my gosh. So when you're working two jobs at the same time, for me anyway, I was super insecure about being a part-time agent or whatever, because you're not a part-time agent. You're just working twice as hard as a single careered agent.
Yes.
And I think for me, the thing that I was the most proud of in the 2 years of working, doing hair and doing real estate was the genuine responses I got from my clients. When someone calls you up and asks you to find a home for them or help them sell their home, it's a humbling, for me anyway, it's a humbling feeling of like, they're telling you, I trust you.
Yes.
I believe in you. And I know that you are the person that is the right person to do this for me and for my family.
Yeah.
So there have been several moments working with first-time home buyers, like you said, who are having to move maybe because they don't want to move.
Yeah.
I had a client that had to move for some tough reasons, and she was really nervous about it. And then when the deal was all done and it worked out, it was like it was such a satisfying thing to know that she was in a great place. She was happy about the home she was in. So those are the moments for me that are really the most important, are when people come to me and they trust me, and then also we can celebrate their big accomplishments together. That has not gotten old yet. I hope it never gets old. It is the best part about all of this.
I don't think it gets old.
That's good to hear.
At least for us, which if I remember, I will touch on this in a minute, but it will never get old. I feel the exact same way. I feel like it's an honor when somebody comes to me and, asks me to help them with their purchase or their home sale. It just, because it is oftentimes the biggest transaction, the biggest financial transaction that most people make. And so to be trusted with that, is an honor. So, and of course, now I talked too much, so now I can't remember what else I was going to say.
That happens all the time to us.
I think our minds are just overloaded all the time. And
gosh.
It's easy to lose.
Yeah.
You're constantly like thinking like
the next
going
thing,
through the mental checklist. Yes. Okay. So if you could give advice to part-time agents out there, or somebody let's focus on part-time agents right now who are trying to figure out how they can go full-time and, make it. Is there a small piece of advice? Because I know there's a lot to it, but is there some sort of advice that you could give to them?
Yeah. Every situation obviously is different. For me, it was a matter of, I struggled trying to figure out, okay, when is the right time? And the right time, I think for me, was a situation where I had a house that I was selling, and there was a lot of problems with the house, and the wheels were coming off. And as the wheels are coming off, I'm at the salon with a client in my chair that I've done her hair for 20 years. And I'm foiling her hair, and I can see my watch, and it's just my seller blowing up my phone. Like, where are you? I need you. I need advice on this. What do I do? And I couldn't do anything about it because I literally was highlighting a client's hair as it was happening. And that was a moment for me where I was like, this is no longer productive.
Yes.
I'm not paying attention to my client in the chair, and I can't give the appropriate attention to this seller at this moment. And so now is the time. And so for me, it was almost, and I don't want to say this in a bad way, but it was almost a breaking point of like, I can't do all of this anymore.
Yeah.
So for someone who is trying to figure out when to make the leap, I'm not saying you need to push yourself to the point of like panic, which is never good.
Mental breakdown.
But I think at some point, when you're leaving a career, in your gut, and yes, it is a risk. Yes, financial risk and risks in a lot of other ways. But for me, it was a moment of like, I really forget all the clients. I owe it to myself to stop the insanity and focus on one thing or another.
Yeah.
You know, there's a movie that I really love called Sweet Home Alabama. And at the end of the movie, Dad says, you can't ride two horses with one ass, sugar bean. And that is one of my favorite. So at some point you got to pick a horse and you got to go with it. And so that was that. It was like a gut feeling where I was like, I just can't do this anymore. It's not fair to anybody involved, least of all me, frankly.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And I think I had that exact moment as well when I was bartending
Yes.
full time, and I was bartending, being a full-time admin, and I just got my real estate license. So I was trying to juggle essentially 3 jobs. One that was making me a good amount of money, the other that was paying the bills, and then the other that was making me nothing, but I had to figure it out. So, you know, I can very much relate to that because I would, same thing, watch behind the bar. I can't just walk away from the bar and go make phone calls. And so, you know, it was extremely stressful because I would get there at 5 o'clock. And so then at 5 o'clock, I had to essentially, I am no longer available.
That's it. You're done. Yeah.
And it was so stressful. But I think you're absolutely right. There comes that point where it is just an absolute almost breaking point where it's like, okay, this isn't working anymore, because I think it was affecting me, you know, bartending too. I wasn't happy to be there anymore. I was, it wasn't
it's
enjoyable.
not fun anymore. And really, you know, maybe not everybody's like me, but I like when my job is fun.
Yes.
Hair was fun for a very long time.
And
and I love that. Real estate for me at this phase of my life is super fun. And I want to do more of that. And that was really kind of the thing. Like, okay, I need to have fun and enjoy what I'm doing.
Yes. And so I just remembered what I was going to mention before. So
perfect.
We were talking about, you know, how when somebody decides to hire you, like how that feels. And I think the reason that is for you and I, and a lot of realtors in our industry, is because we are relationship based. And so I have always said from the beginning, there are relationship realtors and there are transaction realtors. So, you know, Kendall and I, we pride ourselves on making those connections and strengthening relationships, not just, oh, I want to see if I can sell the most houses. Like, no, we truly care about you, and we want to help you figure out what the best solution is. And so I think, you know, the reason we care so much and we're so honored when people hire us is because of that. You know, we're building our career lifelong as well. You know, it's super important because, you know, Joe Smith, who called and wants to hire you to list their house, he could have 10 more connections to introduce you to, you know, and so it's just really important, the work, you know, we're doing. Well, I am so excited, but we're already at 25 minutes.
Holy smokes.
I know, right?
This so fast.
It does.
This is
fun. So let's talk about 2026. So do you have some big goals? Are you keeping them kind of where you were last year, just hoping, to maybe add a little bit more. What are you thinking of for 2026?
I think I said this to you while I was still doing hair and doing real estate. I said to Lindsay, I think I'm going to take the month of January off once I stop doing hair.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just going to take a break. That did not happen. Shocker. So, for me, this year is about growth. I am now invested in one career and not two, which I'm very happy about.
Love it.
So I feel like I did pretty well last year in real estate. My numbers were pretty good. I definitely want to grow that. So, but again, it's relational. So I have a lot of relationships and a lot of clients kind of in my pipeline down the road.
Yep.
So I'm kind of working on some of that stuff. It's been a good start to the year for me so far. So for this year, a lot of it is about growth. And then also I want to, in my kind of office hours, I call it office hours when I'm, just at home or at one of the real estate offices working on stuff. I also want to work on my education a little bit as well. Sure. Sometimes when you're working two jobs, you go to real estate school, you take all of the classes you need to take, you get your continuing ed, but you're just kind of throwing yourself into it and you're learning as you go. And I think you have to do that to a certain degree, but there are some things that I need to brush up my knowledge on and become a better expert on. So that's something kind of in my downtime that I'm working on as well.
Well, that is a good thing to do because, as you know, every 3 years, your continuing education is due. So you're going to have
So I'm coming up, actually.
I actually, oh my God, Sunday is March. Sunday's March. This is terrifying. And I'm up on my
birthday.
Yeah. So I have another 30 hours that's due. But I try really hard to do it all year.
Yes.
And
it's the right way to do it.
Yeah. And silent plug, but if you are a member of the not silent shameless plug.
Yeah, there you
go. The Medina County Board of Realtors, if you are a member, we have some great CE.
Yes.
So check out the board website.
They do have good stuff.
But that's, an easy way. So we got people in the comments before we get off here. So Mr. Jeffrey Carducci said, Kendall fits our culture 100%. We are lucky to have her. And then Emily, when you were talking about January, she said, there are no months off, just a dream.
That's so true. That is so true.
And then the famous line that everyone says, if you want to be busy, go on vacation.
I had heard that from other agents. That is totally true.
Yeah.
And also, very sobering when you're like, oh shoot, I'm not in the country right now.
Right. I haven't had 3 Mai Tais on the beach or anything.
It's fine.
Well, Kendall, before we end here, can you tell people where they can follow you as far as social medias, your phone number, all the good stuff?
Yes. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Kendall Bergen on Facebook, I guess. And then Ken Sells Clee, like as in Cleveland, Ken, Ken Sells Clee on Instagram. My phone number is 330-242-0061. Call me, text me. I'm like Lindsay. I work 7 days a week, so I'm always available for questions or conversation or any of that. So
I love it.
Thank you for having me.
Kendall, thank you for coming on. I know that myself and Jeff are super proud of you.
Thank you. You guys
Looking
are
forward.
The best.
Thank you. We try,
You guys are fabulous support. Fabulous support.
Trying to create, a great team with amazing culture. I think that's the biggest, most important aspect. So thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad we are back together again in real estate, and thank you for joining us. And we'll probably have you come back on soon.
Sounds good. Bye, guys.
Bye.